Hi, this is Willie Crawford, and I'm joining George.stavrou today on this Facebook Live. George is a health and fitness expert whom I'm helping to launch a product. The product is available now, and we'll tell you how to get it later in the presentation. Before kicking off George's larger launch with hundreds of affiliates, I'm helping him to fine-tune things and working on little things like email swipe copy and stuff along that line. Another reason I'm involved in the project, though, is that I see far too many of my friends and fellow entrepreneurs who allow themselves to get fairly unhealthy as they sit in front of the computer all day and eat poorly, often at the computer, and they don't get up and get any exercise. So I noticed, that they're becoming really unhealthy. And so I want to encourage them to get back in good physical condition. That's part of why I'm helping with this project. So we're doing a short series of Facebook Lives to give you a sample of what you can expect from the Stavrou method, a 12-week, day-by-day guide to health, wellness, and fat loss for all levels. George's package takes a holistic approach to optimal health and wellness and has contributions from over 20 experts in the industry. So he, along with his team of experts, they cover the following areas: physical health, mental health, spiritual health, emotional health, financial health, and relationships with ourselves and with others. We'll be doing Facebook Lives on a weekly basis, and we'll be sticking around after them to answer any questions you may have. If you're watching the recordings, you can post your questions in the comments box beneath the recordings, and you can also email your questions to us. George's email is george, george.stavrou, stavrou at Rogers, which is rogers.com. And I'm at willie.crawford@gmail.com. So that's willie.crawford@gmail.com. Willie Crawford's a fairly common name, but a lot of people spell it Willy, so I always have to spell that out. Each segment, we'll try to keep to 30 minutes or less. And while George is giving some fantastic tips, I'll be sitting here taking some notes myself. Let's see. We look forward to seeing you on these Facebook Lives and helping you with your health and wellness goals. And with that, George, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Oh, fantastic. Well, Willie, I appreciate the incredible intro that you did. I'm excited to be here again with you all. So today's Facebook session is going to be a little bit different approach than, say, our previous ones. And also, if you miss any of the info that we're covering, I'm going to have a link in the description box for this video that will give you access to the PDF of our webinar notes. So if you stay until the very end, we're going to give you details on how you can get your hands on the Stavrou method, a 12-week day-by-day guide to health, wellness, and fat loss for all levels at a ridiculously low intro price. And our package, like Willie said, does take a holistic and preventive approach to optimal health and wellness. So before I get into that, I'm just going to give you a recap and a brief one of what we've covered in previous sessions, basically a teaser of what to expect from our package. And if you missed any of the other videos that we've done, don't worry about that. We have them archived, and the link to the archive will also be in the description box below this video. So like Willie said, he's come across lots of internet marketers that neglect their health in their quest for wealth. A lot of times people will be spending a considerable amount of time working on the computer with a whole laptop lifestyle type of thing. And while many of those connections are doing very well in that area, it's after about 14 to 16 hours of being glued to the computer, it does take its toll on a person's overall health and well-being. So one of the things that Willie and I have been discussing for a while is, if you think you don't have enough time for a healthier lifestyle, we're here to tell you that just a small investment in yourself will pay huge dividends down the road. So just think of that whole thing there, an ounce of discipline to improve your health and wellness versus a pound of regret when you've gotten sick and try to regain your health later. So what approach makes more sense to you? And in previous Facebook Lives that we have done, some of the stuff we've covered are, say, the many benefits of working out. Some examples are increased metabolism, more energy, improved muscle tone, enhanced self-esteem, looking and feeling better, improved mental clarity, reduced risk of injury, and decreased stress levels. Another biggie is reduced blood pressure, and a lot of the population are suffering from high blood pressure. So by keeping the blood pressure checked through proper lifestyle weight management program, it could minimize or potentially just get you off of the meds in the first place. And also another area to look at is faster recovery from illness. So I find that when I'm on top of my program, when I do fall ill, I bounce back a lot faster. It's a complete recovery. It's a lot quicker. And if I get off the wagon for whatever reason, the same thing tends to drag on. Some other things we've covered are, say, the importance of taking a 2-week break from your workout prior to beginning our program. So you could be in a state of overtraining and just not know it. So taking 2 weeks off of that will give you the chance to recover, as well as minimizing the chance of developing injuries. Sometimes we think more is better, but professional athletes actually plan their layoffs strategically just to avoid overuse of certain muscles. Other things we've covered is cleaning up your junk food from your cupboards. So if it's not there, it's certainly easier to stay on top of your nutrition program. And we're not telling you to totally deprive yourself. We actually encourage you to have cheat meals and even cheat days. You just have to know how to plan for it.
You know, one of the things I noticed was that, you know, while we're very focused on, you know, our nutrition and not having all the junk food around, we still have, you know, family members who periodically look for the junk food. So you either compromise and have something that, you know, that they can snack on, or you push them towards healthier snacks. Like when my kids come over now, I'm pushing apples and carrots and things like that at them rather than, you know, chips or whatever.
Oh, things like that, and you know, just different nut butters, and it still takes care of the cravings. And I like what you said, and with a lot of the health food stores that are out there, they do have incredibly great tasting foods on the shelves that almost taste like that the junk food equivalent. And I noticed that. So perfect example, I've got dairy issues. So if I have anything, say, with milk, cream, or cheese in it, there's a number on my system. So I've actually found an ice cream equivalent made out of, I think, coconut, and there's another one just made out of cashew. And if you didn't know what the ingredients were, you think it was the real thing. So it's just, you know, being aware of the different options that are out there and how to incorporate it into your lifestyle. And if you do get a craving for, you know, the pure junk, there's ways of just doing damage control, and that's something we're going to cover a little bit later as well. But yeah, that's a great point. That just if it's not there, people aren't going to go out, especially in the middle of winter, looking for a bag of chips or a 2-liter bottle of pop or something.
Right.
And some of the other things that we have covered, so a checklist to ensure optimal results from your workout. So it's not just going in and starting to train, it's just basic guidelines to follow to make sure that you get the most out of your time. So it's not even so much the maximal amount of time that you can put in, it's the optimal amount. And the approach I used to have when I was younger, if I couldn't get a full hour workout in, I just wouldn't go. But you don't necessarily have to do an hour of one time. You can even break it down to different chunks. It could be, say, 10 minutes here, another 15 minutes during your lunch hour, and another, say, 10 minutes at the end of the day. So those are one of the things that we give you within the package, saying, you know, we're working around your busy lifestyle because everybody does have a lot on their plate. So how do we help you get the most out of the information in our package while making it easier to follow through on the guidelines? Some of the other areas that we're covering is there's tons of information on the internet. So firstly, where do you go for the correct information? And then also, how do you decipher the information? Because sometimes it sounds like it's a legitimate thing to follow, but sometimes the people that are posting that information out there, they may have a vested interest in a particular supplement or product that they sell, saying, well, the program only works with their recommendation. So our program, even though we do recommend different supplements, at least we guide you to what to look for, and then you can decide which direction to go in. So, you know, we're not making money off the supplements per se. It's like, you know, here's what's out there. Here's how to read the different labels and to figure out what's right for your body.
Being a marketer, I can see right through those pages of where they, you know, you Google some supplement or some problem, and as soon as you start reading the page and they start recommending one product, one specific product, you know, even though it's a thinly veiled sales pitch, you know, I see right through them, you know.
Yeah.
I see the purpose of the page is to sell that specific product.
Oh, exactly. And, you know, and fortunately, it's like, you know, you've been at this for a while, so you can cut through the chase a lot quicker than the people that don't have your experience. So, that's certainly a great point. So, while we are recommending certain supplements in general, we're not tied to one specific supplement company. That's something I wanted to be clear with the people as well. Okay. Another area that we covered is, look at my notes here. So some experts out there will say that one program fits the entire population, whether it's an exercise program, nutrition, supplementation, etc. But the challenge that both Willie and I have uncovered is a lot of those programs are static in nature. So having rough guidelines to follow are certainly helpful, but if it's too rigid, how can it possibly apply to everybody that's out there? So what we've done with the Stavrou method, after consulting with Willie a lot, is our programs are more dynamic in nature, and it takes into consideration your specific needs. So a bit of background here, when we're looking at, say, the Stavrou diet. And I'm going to backtrack. So I'm not a certified nutritionist, but I have been mentored by a lot of the top nutritionists out there in the field today. And one of the things I've learned is different people will thrive on different, say, food types that are out there. So primary sources are, we're looking at protein, carbs, and fat. I find that I tend to do better with healthier sources of protein and fat and a lower amount of carbs. Not necessarily no carbs, but just a moderate amount, maybe 100 grams a day. Others will do very well on a higher amount of carbs, minimal healthy protein and fat, and then you have another group that's somewhere in the middle. So that ties in the topic of what's called metabolic typing. And the gentleman that came up with this concept, William Walcott, he's just talking about different fuel for your vehicle. So I can only put diesel fuel in a diesel vehicle. I can't put it into a regular gas burning vehicle. So what might look healthy on the surface may not be healthy for your needs. That's why some people, you say, well, my best friend's trying this program, they get the amazing result. Or you can have a twin sibling that does well on a certain eating plan. It doesn't mean that you're going to get the same benefits from it either. So we have certain questionnaires in there. We recommend different types of blood work to figure out what your problematic foods are. And based on that, then we help guide you in the direction as far as more of a dynamic eating plan that actually evolves with your needs. And lots more to cover here. So I do want to keep it brief, but thorough at the same time.
Sure.
Okay. So before even beginning a program, get a complete physical from your physician so you can find out if there's any vitamin and or mineral deficiencies, hormonal imbalances, that type of thing. You may think that you're ready for a program, but there may be something there that you're not aware of that's potentially holding you back. And along those lines, just have open and honest communication with your physician regarding any vitamins that you're taking, supplements, and essential oils as well. And if Willie, if you can give your experience with essential oils, because you're certainly more knowledgeable in that area than I am, that'd be fantastic.
Sure. I've studied about 300 different essential oils. And when I say study them, I learned the actual chemistry, how they affect different parts of the body. And so what I do actually with certain people is I give consultations where I ask them that their medical history and what medications they're taking and things like that. Then I go, before making any recommendations, and look for sensitivities. Like, for example, certain medications, when the pharmacist fills your prescription, they'll give you an information sheet that most people don't read, and it'll tell you, don't take grapefruit supplements or something like that, or eat any grapefruit products with this. Or they'll say, don't use this herbal supplement or this particular thing if you have, say, a thyroid problem, because the thyroids regulate a lot of things in the body, and you can interfere with those things. Or if you've got high blood pressure and you take an essential oil that has a tendency to lower your blood pressure by maybe expanding the veins or increasing the amount of liquids held in the system or whatever, you're counteracting that. So you may not know whether it's a drug that's working or the supplement that's working. And so
right,
you need to discuss it honestly and openly with your doctor, basically.
Yeah, great point there, because some of those supplements or essential oils could be enhancing the medication, or some could be interfering with it. So if your physician doesn't know and they see what's going on with your body, they may be inaccurately prescribing that medication to someone else. And say like, oh, this patient's getting amazing results from this. I'm going to do the same thing with my other people. It's like, well, it's getting amazing results because of that particular supplement or oil that you're taking with it. Or if it's not getting what they're expecting, then what they may be recommending to somebody else could possibly benefit them, but they won't tell them about it because they don't know about the other things interfering with it. Yeah.
And it's not just supplements. I even like taking different herbs.
Yeah.
And the system has the same effect. I know someone who was drinking herbal teas and was admitted to the emergency room, and the doctors had trouble figuring out what was wrong with her until her husband mentioned that she was taking a particular herbal tea.
Wow.
And that was interfering with the medication she was on. So once they figured that out, then they fixed the problem. But it's, even in an emergency situation, you need to tell the doctors or the technicians what's going on, what everything that's going on with your body and what you're putting in it.
Yeah, that's a great point. I'll give you an example. My mother's on different types of medication, and she's in a better spot now than what she was when she was first put on it. But she actually has a list of the meds with her. So not just the actual item, but the dosages. So in case there's some kind of medical emergency, heaven forbid, where, if she faints or needs to be rushed to the hospital or something at the last minute, at least she has that information on her. So it's a lot easier for the hospital staff to see what's going on and what to do. And I take it a step further and have a list of the supplements, essential oils, and perhaps herbs that a person is taking as well, and just keep that handy either in your wallet or in your purse, just so it minimizes the surprises.
That makes total sense. And in fact, I remember we have in the U.S. what we call medic alert bands.
Yeah, we have something
some of those also will list allergies or sensitivities.
Exactly, yeah. Because you may have just a rare thing that 99% of the population is okay with, but you're that 1% where if they give to you, it could be fatal. Yeah, very good point.
And your doctors and your medical professionals, that they always ask you if you have any allergies or any things that you're sensitive to, if you're conscious. But if you're, unconscious and they're working on you, you can't answer those questions. So that's why it would be nice to have something on your body that they can readily identify.
Oh, exactly. And that leads us to the next point. So, certainly get tested for food allergies, intolerances, and sensitivities. The majority of people out there are familiar with what happens to somebody has, say, a severe peanut allergy, where, oftentimes it's fatal. So, the one thing about that, it's like, okay, it's an immediate reaction. Either you notice the side effects right away or up to, say, 2 hours later. But the drawback is, unless a person has an EpiPen, it could potentially be life-threatening. But there's another category of allergies that are out there. It's more of a delayed reaction. So it could be, say, 2 hours after you eat the food or drink the liquid. Could be up to several days later. Some experts are saying it could be even several weeks later. So right now, we're taping this on November 11th, and the person says, well, I'm not feeling too well. What did I have today? Maybe it's what you had today. Maybe it's what you had, say, late October. And it could be that cumulative effect that's adding up where it's that straw that broke the proverbial camel's back. It's like, I've had enough. It just puts you over the edge and you feel lousy. And along those lines, something could be, say, certified organic. You could be getting it from a local farmer. It's not sprayed with a whole bunch of pesticides, but it's not necessarily a healthy item for your needs at this point in your life. So an example that I use, I mentioned my dairy allergies earlier. I have similar symptoms to, say, somebody with environmental allergies. So any trace of, say, milk, cream, or cheese, throat constriction, sinus congestion, runny nose, watery eyes, major headaches. So painkillers don't help out, and trying to sleep it off just doesn't do anything. And it could be, say, raw pasteurized milk, but my body still doesn't like it. I'm better off with a 2-liter bottle of Coke, which is pretty well all sugar. So it's going to be type 2 diabetes down the road, but at least it's not going to knock me in my butt right away. So somebody said, well, I eat all the healthy, clean things here. I grow my own stuff. Your body can actually change over the years. It's like, I've had enough of this. Take a break from it, or I'm going to do something to make sure you have some more variety.
That makes sense.
Really clever.
In fact, I saw a cartoon on Facebook where they I don't know where I saw it, but they talked about feeding your pet the same dog food over and over and over again, day after day after day. So I
Yeah.
think even your pets need some variety.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Because, for the most part, we tend to be eating the same 10 to 15 foods on a day-to-day basis. And it could be the healthiest foods out there. And there's lots of guides out there. They say, okay, here's the foods that are the most nutritious per, gram of food and things like that. But overconsumption of the same thing, as healthy as it is, the body says, hey, this is too much of something, and you're missing some other things that maybe number 50 on the list could be providing you. So that's something worth looking at. And take care of your pet the way you would take care of yourself. Just rotate the foods and brands and things like that. That'll make a big difference for sure.
Yeah, although pet foods are often formulated with nutrition in mind, and in fact, they sneak in nutrients that the pet probably wouldn't eat if you just offered them the nutrient alone. And animal, when you're raising livestock, they do the same thing. They formulate it and put in those nutrients and those micro or trace minerals that the animal needs. So
yeah, and it's great that they are doing that. At the same time, if it's just too much about one particular brand or type of food, then the pet's going to say, okay, I've had enough.
Yeah.
So variety is certainly key. So some other items that we have covered. Okay, there's certainly lots of different tests that you can get done with the physician. It's just a matter of how in depth you want to go with it and your financial situation. And like Willie was saying earlier, just have that open, honest communication. So some tests might be more general in nature, and that's a good starting point. Or one test may just kind of reveal something, saying, we found something here, we need additional testing. So we've got a list of resources in the package, and we also have connections with some functional medicine practitioners that can go into more depth. It's kind of guide you along that path. Another important topic that we covered is the importance of getting enough sleep. So you could be suffering from what's called sleep debt. So if you look at credit card debt, if you owe money on the credit card, the longer it takes to pay it off, the more interest you're going to be accumulating. It's like the same thing as not getting your optimal hours of sleep on a regular basis. Not everybody needs the same amount, and we have a sleep log in there that helps kind of figure out what your range is. So say you need anywhere from about 7 to 8 hours sleep a night, but you're only getting 5 hours on a regular basis for a couple of weeks. That means you're in debt by about 2 to 3 hours every night. Well, over the course of a couple of weeks, that's a considerable amount of sleep debt. And that's going to affect just your everyday lifestyle, your mental clarity, alertness, things like that. And trying to make up for the sleep on the weekend isn't always the way to go. Sorry, you're going to say?
I went for most of my adult life operating on about 5 hours of sleep on average a night. But I took naps during the day too sometimes. But so I think everybody's body is slightly different. I mean, some people need 10 hours a night and others don't. But my mother used to say to me, you're going to cause an enlarged heart or whatever. Your body needs time to repair itself, and so and it repairs itself during sleep.
Correct, and that's a great point that you brought up. That you do take naps. A friend of mine, he's not able to nap in the middle of the day like we are. When he does, he's out for the rest of the day. But with ourselves, we could do multiple sessions of 20-minute naps, and we're just feeling amazing afterwards. That's how I got through post-secondary education, just a 20-minute nap, and it let me go on for another 2 hours that day, rather than force myself to get through the day and just not being able to absorb everything from the lectures that I was going to. Yeah, so it's a great point, just knowing your body. And it's not to say that we're going to give you the answer within the package, but we're asking people the questions to ask themselves so they can find their own answers. So keep track of things like, when did you go to bed? When did you wake up? It's not just say the quantity of sleep, it's the quality of it. Are you feeling refreshed where you can take on the world, or are you still feeling sluggish? Maybe you're getting too much sleep. Maybe you need that nap in the afternoon, or maybe that nap is affecting you where you shouldn't be taking it. So we have more of a dynamic approach there. So it's like the package actually evolves with your needs.
That makes total sense.
And few other points here. So we're looking at, say, tools in the toolbox. So if somebody's building a house, they're going to have a saw, a hammer, a nail, some nails, screwdrivers, that type of thing. So like, what health tools are available to you, and what do you use and when? So, okay, exercise is important. Is it the right type of exercise? If it's too much or too little, that's not going to give you the optimal results you're looking for. Nutrition, supplementation, recovery, things like that. So basically, we have the resources in the package and say, here's what's out there, and we guide you along the way and figure out what to use and when. So this way, you don't have to research things on the internet, which takes up a considerable amount of time, and it may not be the right information for your needs.
Yeah, when you mention that point, we basically are filtering through all the information. So we serve it as a trusted filter because there's so much conflicting information. You need a filter unless you're an expert on that topic.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, that's a great point. We've got 23 contributors on board to those different modalities that Willie mentioned earlier, and I'm not claiming to be the hub as far as the expert in health and wellness. I'm just a hub that's gathering experts like Willie and the other contributors on board. I learned a lot from Willie as far as essential oils, and that's certainly making a huge difference in my lifestyle. Also, somewhat familiar about them just reading about the products, but never really started experiencing until, working closely with Willie on this. Some additional points, and this is going to backtrack a little bit. So even when we're talking about, say, the junk food, a person may have a sweet tooth. So one of the things to watch out for, what's called the glycemic index of foods. And basically what that means is how quickly that food will get converted to sugar in your body as a fuel source. So eventually it does get converted into fuel, but the higher the number, the faster it's going to change into your system, and that's going to do a number on your insulin level. And too much sugar also leads to inflammation, which is the underlying theme with a lot of illnesses and diseases. So there's a link to some websites out there and saying, if you do have a craving for something sweet, take a look at the link, and there's a list of foods that are out there. So you can go for something in the same food category with a lower number. So it's less damaging to your body. It's just the lesser the evils. That certainly makes a big difference. Oh, you okay, Willie?
Yes, I'm okay.
Yeah. So we provide information with that. So it goes back to what we're saying, don't totally deprive yourself. It's just, if you're going to enjoy something, realize what it does to you and for you, and try to go for a healthier option if you are in a social situation where you just can't avoid it.
That makes perfect sense. And so I would think it's a fair statement to say that if you're eating sugar, you crave something sweet, that a complex carbohydrate would be preferable over processed sugar.
Exactly, that's right. Yeah, and try to eat something as close to natural as possible. There's times and place for other things. So we also mentioned how to have your cheat meals and cheat days. So like you're still enjoying life overall. Because if you're eating healthy all the time, maybe just the stress of not indulging in things that your friends are getting into, the stress alone might be doing a number on you as well.
Wow.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to backtrack a little bit, say as far as the allergies and intolerances. So I'm going to provide several links here as far as blood work that I recommend getting done. A lot of people are familiar with what's called the RAS test or skin prick test. And after consulting with some physicians that are experts in the industry, they're saying it's not exactly the most reliable. So in my case, if I pour milk on myself or rub cheese on me, I'm not going to react. But if I ingest any of this, like I was mentioning, all the things from the neck up, and I'm not a happy guy to be around. If the skin does react, there's something definitely going on inside of you. But if it doesn't react, who knows what's happening inside you? So it's like, you want to make sure that you're getting just more of a scientific approach with things as well.
Yeah. Sorry, we've got so many weather changes around here that everybody's coughing a lot lately, or I am anyway.
Yeah.
One day we'll have lows or highs, lows in the 70s at night, and then the next night we'll have lows in the 40s. And I'm out in this weather in shorts and t-shirts lately.
Wow, that's quite the extremes there.
Yes.
And you've had some challenges in your neck of the woods as well, so hopefully everything's settled down a little bit since we last spoke.
Yes.
And, yeah. Some other topics we've covered is like supplements. So while supplementation is important, supplement means in addition to, it does not mean to replace anything. So, we're not saying to rely on all these different pills and powders. It's a matter of filling in the gaps. So our focus is on just whole natural foods that you can get at your local grocery store. That's certainly a big part of it. And then if you are going to consider supplements, we give you guidelines as to what to look for, when to incorporate it, and our experts go into more detail with that as well.
And when you talk about whole natural foods, we also touched upon the fact that you need to be aware of like pesticides and pesticides and herbicides on food too. Certain foods you've got the dirty dozen or whatever it's called that
Exactly.
are known to hold more pesticides, than others.
Yeah, that's a great point. I'm glad that you brought that up. So there's the dirty dozen and there's also the clean 15. So I'm going to provide links to that in our description box. So with the dirty dozen, basically the thinner the skin on the fruit or the vegetable, the more likely that the pesticide is going to get inside. So if you're looking at it, if you're eating grapes, we really don't take the skin off of grapes. We just eat it as a whole. But if you're eating a banana, which is a very thick skin, it could potentially be sprayed with the same pesticides, but it's not going to go as deep into the actual flesh of the fruit. So that's certainly a big point. So you say, well, I'm eating clean. Yeah, but it's a dirty dozen. So is there something better you can have, or is there something that you can rinse the pesticides off with? And we include that information as well. Okay, yeah. Okay. Another thing is, like, while the package is very informative in and of itself, it's nice to actually consult with a professional personal trainer. You don't have to be married to them, but I would say go for, like, say, an initial assessment with them and establish baselines in the following areas. So your strength and cardio conditioning, flexibility, and potential muscle imbalances. So while we do have very detailed exercise programs in the package, it's also relative to your body. So it's balanced in and of itself, but is it the right thing for you at this particular time? And that's something where the professional can use our guide and just kind of take things to the next level. Okay. And another thing to consider is your body's not going to change over a sudden. So a person didn't get fat and out of shape overnight, so don't expect to get into normal shape in 2 to 3 weeks. It's not going to happen. There's some programs out there that more of, say, a beach body type of thing, and you may look amazing, but just because you look great doesn't mean that you're actually feeling great. And that goes back to what we're covering. So we're looking at health, wellness, and fat loss. So while the fat loss is certainly part of the picture, we're looking at your own overall health, and we take more of a preventative approach to health and wellness.
Yeah, I once dropped about 15 pounds in under a month, but then when I look back at it, a lot of that weight loss was muscle mass, which I didn't want.
Exactly. Yeah. And think of it, it's like you'll say somebody getting the flu and they're just vomiting for 2 or 3 days straight. So they're losing a fair amount of weight, and they're probably losing a lot of muscle at the time. If they regain that weight, it's not going to be the same muscle that they lost. So the scale says it's the same weight that you were before, but you're just a fatter version of yourself. And that's something to watch out for as well. So, it's not a quick fix things like Willie was saying earlier. It's 12 weeks. So there's enough continuity that you're going to get benefit from it. Not to the point where
developing healthier habits.
Exactly. Yeah. And we're looking more of, say, a lifestyle shift rather than a change. So some people out there have that kind of mental switch in their head, and they seem to think, okay, I was like this as far as poor eating and lack of exercise, whatever, and the next day they can get into a full-fledged program and they're okay with that. But we recognize that the majority of people, it just gradually kind of nudge them in a different direction. So obviously more things that you can incorporate into your daily regime will certainly help you out, but go at your own pace though as well. So don't look at it as an all or nothing type of thing. So people might say, you know what, I'm solid with nutrition, I just need some guidance in exercise. Or I'm solid in exercise, I need some help in lifestyle weight management. We cover that as well.
Okay, and I see that we're gone about 40 minutes, so I that's why I'm not interfering too much. When I have something to add, I add it, but otherwise I don't keep just
Yeah.
throwing my opinion in there.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things that we have covered in the previous Facebook lives that we have done. So, instead of recapping everything, I'm just going to have a link to the archive in the description box of the video. And Willie, how do you feel about us going into our closing thoughts here?
Sure, why don't we do that?
Okay, perfect. So with the research that both Willie and I have done, uh, we've seen that approximately 80, and that's 80% of illnesses and diseases can be prevented entirely or at least minimized from happening in the first place by following a sound lifestyle and weight management program. So this is something that I picked up from a colleague of mine that's also a contributor. He says the best cure for any illness or disease is not to get in the first place. So prevention versus treatment. So if somebody has, say, high blood pressure or develop type 2 diabetes or even something that's more severe, say cancer or something like that, we're not guaranteeing you that by following the principles in our package that you're never going to get something like this, but you are being more proactive as far as your overall health. So maybe somebody is genetically predisposed to, say, high blood pressure. Do you want to get it now? Or maybe it's one of those things where you can delay the onset of it, say by a good 20 or 30 years by following a proper program. So we're certainly encouraging our audience to invest in themselves, a journey to holistic health and wellness by purchasing our package at thestavrou.com. And the link to that is www.thestavroud, V as in Victor, ROU, M as in Mary, ETHOD.com. And the link's going to be in our description box as well. And the investment in our package is normally 127 US, which is a phenomenal price in and of itself, considering all the information that we've gathered from our 23 experts. But Willie twisted my arm a little bit, and we made special arrangements with Willie to give his tribe a ridiculously low price of only $97 US on this. And the price is valid until 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, November 14th of this year. And we'll go back to the initial promotional price of 127 US on November 15th. So we certainly recommend getting on board with it sooner rather than later. And we're also encouraging you to help your loved ones with their health and wellness goals by signing up as an affiliate of ours. So not only can you help your friends and family, you can earn commissions from the sales of our package. And all you need to do is two of your loved ones purchase the package, and your package ends up being free. So the more people that you help, the more we all benefit, and it's a win-win for everyone. And also as an affiliate, we provide you with the tools to help you get the message out to your loved ones. So our goal with the Stavrou method is to help ease the burden on our overwhelmed healthcare system. So I'm based in Canada, Willie's based in the US, and it just seems that a lot of the medical resources are put more towards, say, the treatment side of things rather than prevention. So something I picked up from a colleague of mine, at least in Canada, and I think it may be similar numbers in the US, 95% of healthcare dollars are treatment and only 5% towards prevention. So we're not saying, change those figures overnight, but certainly redirect that. And by being more proactive in your own health, it's less reliance on the system. And it can just be there for future generations for more major stuff that people do need assistance with.
And to backtrack, we mentioned the special price we range for my audience. In order to get that discount, you need to enter a coupon code. So when you're going through the checkout process, you'll see a space on the order form that says coupon code. You need to enter that coupon code, which George can add to the description. Enter that coupon code in the box, and then when you click continue, it will drop the price from 127 to 97.
Exactly. Yeah, and I appreciate the reminder with that. And the coupon code does expire at 12 a.m. on November 15th. So I'm going to grab the code here just to make sure that everybody's on the same page. So the coupon code is Willie C30, and I'll give you $30 off the package price. So it's a capital W in Willie and a capital C. And that's going to give you tremendous savings. And the package is very comprehensive and unique. What we've done with it that others have not done with their particular programs is we get people daily reminders sent out via email autoresponders. So just saying, okay, John Doe, you sign up for the package. Based on how you answer the questionnaire, your beginner phase 1. Here's a reminder as far as what to do with your exercise routine, nutrition, keeping track of things in your sleep and recovery log, recommended supplements. So by having that extra reminder, it's more likely that a person will follow through on the package, especially digital ones like this. Willie and I are both guilty of this where we're purchasing a digital product, forget that we have it, we don't use it, or we may purchase the same product again down the road. So we want to make sure that we're with you every step of the way. And with the purchase of the package, you also get access to our private Facebook community, the Stavrou Method community. So it's an investment of $37 US per month. You get the first month for free. And as we're learning more things from the different experts out there, you get access to that as well. And it's also a forum you can share ideas with others.
Yeah, you get the you have a support group basically. There's peer pressure from your fellow group members, but also you get support from George and I within the group.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, because we don't want to do a hit and run approach with our product. We're truly watching out for a person's overall health and well-being. We're here for the long term. We don't want to just say, okay, we made the sale, you got your product, we got our money, see you later. It's like, no, it's like, what can we do to make sure that you're benefiting as much as possible from your investment? So that was Willie's idea as well, as far as providing the forum in the community. So I thank him once again for that. Yeah, so I'm just going to wrap it up here. So we certainly strongly encourage you to invest yourself in your journey to optimal health and wellness by purchasing our package. And we'd like to thank you in advance for your support. So yours in health and wellness, George Stavrou, president of the Stavrou Method, and Willie Crawford, wellness advocate.
And I want you basically think of the giving yourself this package as a holiday present to yourself. I mean, it's the best present you could give yourself is good health.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And the better health that you're in, it's just like, you have that much more to give to your loved ones as well. It's not just living to an old age. It's like, a healthy old age where you can enjoy your life and spend time with, say, your kids and your grandkids. So we're looking at more of a global approach with this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, well, Willie, we've gone on for, I think, the better part of 45 minutes. I think this is a good time to wrap it up then.
I agree with you. And if people have any questions, we've given them our email addresses, and so they can feel free to reach out to either of us.
Yeah, and everything's going to be in the description box of the video. We're good to go from there. So we look forward to helping people out with their health goals. Yeah. I'd like to thank you once again, Willie. I appreciate everything.
Pleasure, George. Thank you.
Thank you.